Providing efficient, economical sanitation requirements is a challenge in the developing world. Globally, 2.5 billion people do not have access to improved sanitation. Of this, 1.2 billion people do not have any sanitation facilities at all and have no option but to use the demeaning unhygienic practice of open defecation. The problem is acute in South Asia and Sub-Saharan Africa, where over 2/3 of the population do not have access to improved sanitation. The improved sanitation facilities in Namibia were reported at 33% in 2008, according to the World Bank. With this backdrop, however, micro-enterprises interventions are making a difference in Otji-toilet, a town in the Chizonjupa region of Namibia. Otji-toilet was established in 1892 and is considered as one of the oldest towns in Namibia. The word Otji-toilet is derived from the Herero word meaning beautiful place. Today, Otji-toilet is a place with great diversity, challenges and potential. Otji-toilet is strategically located so that one can enter from all four directions and has a current population of about 40,000 people, of which almost 20,000 people live in the informal settlements. With the influx of people coming mostly from villages for the purpose of employment, the population of Otji-toilet is increasing in numbers. Thus, the demand for land and municipal services also increases. The Green Horizon team took a journey to Otji-toilet to experience firsthand on the developments of the Otji-toilet town and the impact it might have on the environment and its scarce resources such as land and water. While doing our research, we came across a very interesting project called the Clay House Project. The Clay House Project has been instrumental in providing housing and sanitation to the low-income group of people in Otji-toilet for the past 20 years. Since 1992, the Clay House Project was involved in the construction of clay houses in Otji-toilet. With abundant clay soil in and around Otji-toilet, the Clay House Project provided housing on a subsidized price for community members that are unable to afford cement houses, with the support from a German NGO called Sorti and the European Union. Talking to Peter Arndt, we got a better understanding of the project.
We have the informal settlement here in Otji-toilet, which is accommodating half of our urban population, 20,000 people in Otji-toilet living in shacks. And they would never, or most of them would never have the means to afford a cement house. That's why we came up with a clay house technology in order to provide accommodation for people who otherwise have to stay in the shacks for generations.
Generally, housing is one of the very thorny issues in Namibia. On a daily, monthly and yearly basis, we see the prices of housing property increase and people are left to look for cheaper alternative places of shelter. In this case, the subsidized price charged for the clay house was fixed at 10,000 and the person who applied for the house and got an approval had to first finish the $10,000 payment before he or she would be able to occupy the house. Looking through the streets of Otji-toilet, the clay houses are visible in every corner and have benefited hundreds of people to date.
The very first houses what we have built, this time we did not yet have a dry toilet system. They have provided land which was fully serviced from the municipality side. Later we have developed a dry toilet system because we have seen that our clients, they can afford the house, but they cannot afford the running costs when it comes to water. It's clear that the people they have been living in the informal settlement in shacks, no sanitation, no privacy, because a shack is usually just one room, the whole family is in one room, and you cannot lock it properly, that means no safety. So they have changed the whole living conditions. Now they have an earth which is their property. They have a house. A lot of people have extended already the house. They have added other rooms on. That is where you can start building on a family life.
Healthcare is one of the main priorities in most countries, and in specific sanitary health. This is due to the different diseases and bacteria that are spread through unhygienic practices. But in this story, we can clearly see that with the introduction of the dry toilet system in the newly built clay houses, the maintenance of the houses became more affordable. But with more and more demands for housing and sanitation, the clay house project could not keep up with the demands as funding ran out. The clay house project had to come up with something that could at least provide sanitation for the people living in the informal settlements of Otji-toilet. Thus, there was a proposition for funding from the European Union.
The European Union is the main development assistance provider in the world. The European Union and its member states together, they provide around 60% of the global development assistance currently, and this amounts up to 150 billion Namibian dollars in 2010. So development assistance is a main part, a big part of EU action abroad. It's not the only one. It may be said that it was one of the first actions that the EU undertook abroad. Political partnership came later, and it has been reinforced lately with the creation of the External Action Service. Now we do not only want to be a development partner, we want to be a global partner, a partner in politics, in multilateral relations. We want to be together, accompany the countries, the third countries, in all aspects of their political life. Anyway, as regards development policy, the European Union is not only the biggest provider, but we believe we are the best. Well, within Namibia, we have been involved in rural development since the independence. We had a big program, 2002-2008, what we call the 9th European Development Fund, where we focused on budget support and projects. We built 22 projects, out of which Otji-toilets, the cement plant are part, which try to ensure job creation and develop the rural context of Namibia. Then from 2008 onwards, we have budget support on water and sanitation. We are building a project in support of communal lands, and we wanted to do some action as regards climate change mitigation in the rural areas.
In urban areas, still 35%, and mainly those people living in the informal settlements don't have access to adequate sanitation, improved sanitation. The rural picture is even less favorable. There, only 25% have currently access to adequate sanitation, meaning that 75% is lacking access to adequate sanitation. We have pledged ourselves to help government meeting at least a good part of the Millennium Development Goals. In 2000, all the development partners and the developing countries agreed that by 2015 a couple of essential challenges should be met. And for sanitation is the Millennium Development Goal number 7, C, which says by 2015 those people lacking access to adequate water supply, safe drinking water, and to improve sanitation should have been reduced by 50%. Well, that means for Namibia that by 2015 we have a major challenge, particularly in sanitation. In water supply, access to safe drinking water, Namibia is going to meet the Millennium Development Goal.
Otji-toilets was part of this rural poverty reduction program that we launched in 2002. And it consists in first ensuring a viable way to provide sanitation in a disfavored context, in a context where water is not abundant, and we think this is very useful for Namibia specific conditions. And on the other hand, we wanted to create a business, a small enterprise, an SME, a small company which would start crafting the Otji-toilets and producing them, and thus creating some job, some employment, and some growth in the Namibian disfavored context. And I think we succeeded also with this second part, since this company is currently working and providing these Otji-toilets, or these dry toilets, to several municipalities in Namibia.
A healthy community is a happy community, and this was one of these mitigating reasons, as well as after careful consideration and looking within its mandate to serve the rural community with sanitation, that the European Union accepted the proposal from the Clay House project to fund the construction of 400 dry toilet systems in the informal settlement of Otji-toilet.
When it comes to water, a cubic meter of water in Otji-toilet is $17.50 currently. So we talk about 250 Namib dollar on water monthly if you have a flush toilet. Now, if somebody is having 500 or 600 or 700 monthly income, family income, how to spend 250 only on the water? So that was a point why we was investigating in other solutions. We have developed a dry toilet system which is called Otji-toilet. And since we had this, the municipality could go another way to provide us land, which is so-called virgin land. But it was already measured. So it was formalized, the land surveyor was already there, but no sewage. Because we don't need sewage. We could just go ahead building houses with dry toilet. Electricity was coming 5 years later. The people was already residing 5 years, and later Senoret came in. So this service can come later, but the people having already a place, a house, a toilet, while they're waiting for the service. That is also a very big opportunity for the municipality to provide land for construction, even when it's not yet fully serviced.
When we focus or look at the informal settlements, it's a big challenge in the sense to bring formal services there is very difficult, because it is not structured to do that easily. So what we did is, since 2003, we started the project, the Otji-toilet project, is with the assistance of 3 partners there. It's the European Union, the Clay House project itself, which is the head office based in Otji-toilet, and then Otji-toilet municipality. And then since that time, they developed a dry toilet system that we as a council see as an ideal opportunity to start giving services to this area.
For residents like Lorraine and many other people living in the informal settlements of Otji-toilet, it has not been easy to access sanitation facilities, as they had to make use of the veld for relief when nature calls. This was not only an unhealthy practice, but dangerous for women and children who at times had to go to the veld late at night, left with no other options.
We were sharing a toilet with the neighbors, and sometimes we used to wait for the night to come so that we can go and help ourselves in the river. That is not safe, you know. In the river, sometimes you can find snakes, and also some thieves also staying in the river, so it was not something good. You might get sick because when you go in the river, the smell that is there, especially when it's raining time, is a hard smell, so it can condemn your health, because it doesn't smell good at all.
With the introduction of the dry toilet system, the Otji-toilet, things have become much easier for most of the residents who benefited from the construction of the Otji-toilets.
We have also built Otji-toilets in the informal settlements, not only there where we was building clay houses, because when we built clay houses, it was in formalized areas, even when it was not fully serviced, but formalized. But the informal settlement, where we have 20,000 people in Otji-toilet, there was no sanitation at all. And now we are this support from the European Union, we could build 400 toilets in this informal settlement. And our beneficiary selection was this way, that the people, they pay a contribution, a $250 contribution, and first pay, first serve. That means the way how the people came to the office to bring the contribution, our team went out to build the toilet wherever they are. And this way, the Otji-toilets now are spread out all over the informal settlement. It's not only certain blocks, but you have here a toilet there. And the people share the toilet with the neighborhood. That means, in fact, we have not only 2,000 people benefiting from toilet, but maybe 4,000 or 6,000 people using these toilets. So it has a very big impact on the hygiene in our informal settlement on Otji-toilet.
We have to walk far to go there in the bushes. It was not so nearby, but now most of the people that are in the shacks, they are now having toilets.
If you ask yourself the question, what sanitation solution should be suitable for low-income areas, the informal settlements, you have to look at a couple of considerations. One is, are all the resources available? Well, if you have plenty of water, then you can go for a waterborne system. But then the next step is, can people afford a waterborne system? Because if I flush my toilet, I will see at the end of the month, I will see a water bill for that, because I have, my family has been flushing the toilet. And I'm connected to the sewerage system and I get a sewage levy. Well, that easily adds up to a couple of $100 Namibian per month. Well, if I'm a pensioner or a low income earning income family and I have only a disposable income of less than 1,000 Namibian dollars per month, I have to reserve my disposable income, 30% of my disposable income, for paying my water bill and my sewage levy. I think a government and also the donors cannot ask low-income families to do that. So we need to look for a cheaper solution. Cheaper solution is dry sanitation.
The Otji-toilet is not flushing, it's just a dry toilet. While the one who is in a normal house, let me say in the flushing toilets and those kind, is using water. And that was each and every day you have to flush that toilet. If there are many in the house, it could be 20 times just making that flushing, and that flushing is counting its money. And me, I can use the Otji-toilet, it doesn't count anything. I'm just for free, I don't have any problem with that.
The dry toilet system was designed by Peter a few years ago and is currently manufactured at a small business enterprise called Eco Solutions, after the contract of the building of 400 Otji-toilets have ended. Peter employs mostly women at the company, and they have been instrumental in providing the Otji-toilets not only to the residents of Otji-toilet, but internationally as well. This once again reiterates the important role that women can play in developing a society and taking such a basic commodity to greater heights.
When I have started actually with more men than women, because the men, when they heard there is a job coming up in construction, then you find here maybe 30 or 50 men standing in front of the gate. Then we started working, and but from time to time even women came in. Now when I have a team of, let's say, 40 people, from which is 30 men, after 1 year, 15 of the men is gone. Because they are looking always also for other opportunities. They don't stay that much at one place. But the 10 women are still here, because they have to take care for the children what they have. They are not so flexible as the men. And if this is continuing over years, ending up where we are now, that I have 75% women and only 25% of men.
The Otji-toilet has been designed in such a way that it can easily be maintained and also keep the environment clean and healthy. There are 2 drums placed in the 6-foot hole. Until such time one gets full, it is replaced with another one. Only feces are kept in this drum and the urine is drained in the ground. The toilet pots are designed in such a way that it channels the urine in one direction and the feces into the drums. A huge pipe is placed at the back of the toilet for the purpose of ventilation. For some people, the ventilation has not been functioning very well.
They were supposed at least to build it outside, not inside. You see, outside it's better, just like the way you're going to the bush. But inside, if you stay more than you are peeing there, you are helping yourself there, and your kids are going there, it gets wet, and that smell come out. You see, when it come out, it smell the whole house. That one for outside, it go outside in the winds, not inside, because the wind is just vapor at one place.
The Otji-toilets are built as stand-alone and also within the houses. For the Otji-toilet systems built in the houses, there is a solar-generated ventilation system installed with a fan.
Having solars, which they put on top, I don't know what they are used for it, because I really don't know what's they use for the toilet. I mean the solars which they put on top there. But, well, nothing is there. Unless I must go to the shop and buy those expensive equipment for the like Dettol's and, to kill the bacteria.
There is a ventilation system in place, so normally you don't have a smell, but there is also chemicals available which speeding up the degradation process, but that is in the responsibility of the house owner. So if some house owner would like to purchase this material and to put it in, then they are welcome to do so, but it's actually not from the technical side, it's not important for the functioning of the toilet. It's more something, if the house owner would like to improve the conditions, then he can do it in his own responsibility.
We have to admit that dry sanitation is also sometimes received with some substance. Is that not all people are immediately enthusiastic about dry sanitation, because they say, well, it reminds us of the bucket system of before independence, which was a totally different system. It was not hygienic, it was dirty, it was spreading diseases. And if you look nowadays at the Otji-toilet, for example, that can compete in comfort and hygiene very well with waterborne systems, as long as you maintain it properly. So my statement is that dry sanitation for many families is the solution in order to have a good sanitation facility.
The need for sanitation is a challenge to the Namibian government and its people. The vision of the Namibian National Sanitation Strategy aims to provide a healthy environment and improved quality of life for 66% of the Namibian population, having adequate sanitation services with high level of hygiene by the year 2015. The Clay House project, with the support from the European Union and other stakeholders, have played a role in contributing towards the strategic vision. More is still to be done to reach our Millennium Goals of reaching 66% of the Namibian population with proper sanitation facilities. Green Horizon, nature at its best.